Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the final episode of the Gronthee online initiative 100 Poets Around the World. As you know, this session started about 6 months ago, and we managed to interact with many wonderful, many leading poets from all across the world, from different cultures, from different languages. And this is the final episode for this beautiful initiative that aimed to connect and encourage more interaction between poets, just to make the world a bit more better place for all of us. And I'm sure the encouragement, the suggestion, the feedback that we received in last 6 months is just overwhelming, just amazing. And that encouraged us, knowing the fact that there are so many poetry loving audiences from all across the world who praised, who left wonderful feedback, and also our gratitude to poets who joined, who supported this groundbreaking initiatives. Some of you perhaps know about the Gronthee. Gronthee is now a global platform that promotes world poetry, world literature. We during this COVID, we ran some wonderful conversation with the contemporary philosophers, contemporary filmmakers, contemporary poets, and that include this beautiful initiative, 100 Poets Around the World for Love as well. So after this session, we will still continue with the global literature, with the promotion of global literature. And as you know, Gronthee hosts a sublime session of a sublime festival of world poetry with called International Poetry Festival. Into the Gronthee International Poetry Festival that happens every year. We will do a Zoom session, perhaps a virtual session by January. And then also it will promote the experimental literature as we did before. The Gronthee, as you know, the Gronthee was Bangladesh centric platform. 30 years ago, it started with an aim to promote the uh, experimental literature, new voices, but now it became a more global platform with a focus on uh, South Asian literature, actually, and it publishes a wonderful little mag called the Gronthee, uh, and also it hosts live events. That is the strength of the Gronthee, actually. The live events, poetry festival, discussion on critical discussion on contemporary philosophy, literary works, and it will continue even this during this COVID. It will continue its journey as it did before. Uh, as you know, the Gronthee Literature Festival will be hosted in some academic venues next year. It was supposed to happen this year actually, and that include Queen Mary University, Oxford University, some and Leeds University, just to connect more academicians into this great journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, this is the final episode. When I say final, it makes me sad because every Saturday, number of audiences from different countries, from different languages, from different cultures, uh, uh, used to wait for this session just to listen, just to hear the voices, the powerful voices from poets from all across the globe. And now, with this episode, the session will finish, the initiative will finish, but Gronthee will begin more interesting literary initiatives. So please keep an eye on Gronthee's activities here in London. Gronthee is based in London now, but its activities more or less uh, quite world-centric. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our panel today. We are waiting for three more poets to join actually from India and Bangladesh. Let us see. But still, we do have some wonderful and phenomenal poets, iconic poet, I should say, joined so far. One is an iconic poet of 60s in Bangladesh, poet Nirmalendu Goon. Many thanks, Gunda, for joining as part of this initiative, and a warm welcome to today's session. Can you hear me, Gunda? If you kindly unmute yourself, is it possible to unmute? Exactly. আপনার আনমিউট করতে গিয়ে যেটা হয়েছে, আপনার আপনার ভিডিওটা অফ হয়ে গেছে. Could you please turn your video on now?
ভিডিওটা অফ হয়ে গেছে.
Exactly. Many thanks. A warm welcome. সুস্বাগতম গন্দা আজকে এই
Thank you Shaheen Kaysher. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you গন্দা. আমাদের সাথে যুক্ত আছেন, এই মাত্র বাংলাদেশ থেকে যুক্ত হলেন আরেক very prominent poet from Bangladesh, Habibullah Sirajee. A warm welcome to Habibullah Sirajee, and many thanks for joining. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much. Good evening. Good morning to you.
Exactly.
Anywhere in the world, people who are listening to it. So, many thanks for your kind invitation and joining with you.
Many thanks for joining. We do have another wonderful poet who joined from Sweden, a Peruvian Swedish poet, Azril Bacal. Many thanks, Azril, for joining as part of this series, as part of this initiative, and a warm welcome. This is, as you know, I already mentioned that this is the final episode of this groundbreaking initiative, 100 poets around the world. So through this initiative, we already managed to interact with 95 poets so far before, and with you, 100 poets. Poets from different cultures, poets from different languages joined and read their poetry, and this was quite interesting for our audiences who used to be waiting for every Saturday just to be the part, just to listen, just to hear the voices, powerful voices from the poets. So many thanks, Azril, for joining, and a warm welcome to today's session. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you, Ahmed, and all of you, Shamim, who was my first link. But then I think I have met some of you in the book fair in Gothenburg. At least I understand Nirmalendu has been in Sweden. Maybe some of you, I don't know, but I understand Nirmalendu was 2013, I think 100th anniversary of Rabindranath Tagore, and I was there. I was happy to join.
Wow, world is such a small place, Let me introduce our regular panel, but in the meantime, this is streaming live from the Gronthee page. If you kindly share, those who are watching, if you kindly share and let your friends be the part of this wonderful session, just to make sure during this COVID, this session is counted as a therapy, is counted as a healing initiative. That's how that kind of feedback we received from the audiences. So please do share to help your friends to engage in something that can heal, something that can offer kind of a remedy. So please do share. It is streaming live from the Gronthee's page. In the meantime, I would like to introduce Shaheen Mitul, a part and parcel of Gronthee's initiative, a friend, a concert organizer. Many thanks, Mitul, for joining, and a warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Poet Rumi once said, in the house of lovers, the music never stops and the floor dances. Poetry to me is a kind of worship. It is a form of music. We need to completely surrender ourselves and submerge into it to understand its tunes, depths, and rhythms. Today, I'm absolutely sure that the floor will be dancing here because we have some phenomenal poets with us today. A very warm welcome to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitul. We do have
Thank you,
we
Mithul.
have Shamim Shahan, a poet and the editor of the Gronthee with us. Many thanks, Shamim Shahan, for joining, and a
Thank you,
warm
Kaysar.
welcome.
Thank you, Kaysar. Good evening. Today is the 20th and last episode of 100 Poets Around the World for Love as part of Gronhtee Facebook Live Series. I cordially welcome to poet Nirmalendu Goon, poet Habibullah Shiraji, poet Azril Bacal, poet Asad Chaudhry and Joy Goswami. Hopefully, just they're joining very shortly. Poet friend and my brother T M Ahmed Kaysher has already introduced about Gronthee initiative. The Gronthee, one of the top platform of South Asian literature, philosophy, and sociology in Britain. We start with a bunch of friends at the beginning at early 1990s. That was purely Bangladesh centric. Now it is becoming quite global platform. The people we invite to this platform have created their own location from their respective places. It may be poetry, stories, articles, novels, or criticism. From the beginning of the Gland to the present day, everyone is doing the work of their own. The Gronthee has been able to conquer the country and create a unique platform in the world. The series that we have started on the Facebook Live is being watched from all over the world. Greeting and love to all who are watching this show today. Thanks to everyone, including one of our team member, Shaheen Mithul. Thank you.
Many thanks, Shamim Shahan. So let me start with Azril. So Mitul, if you kindly read a short introduction on Azril, uh, and in the meantime, if you kindly follow whether we do have any feedback in the live streaming, just to make sure we have been heard okay, and the live streaming is going smoothly.
Would you like me to read some comments first?
If you kindly do, yeah.
Sure. So we have Shomuna দাশগুপ্ত চলে এসেছি শুভেচ্ছা সবাইকে জুনান নাশিদ আবারও অনেকদিন পর অপেক্ষার অবসান সাথে আছি সবাইকে অভিনন্দন শ্রদ্ধা মুর্শেদ আখতার শুভকামনা রইল আজকের জন্য অধীর আগ্রহে অপেক্ষা করছি শাহিদ কায়েস good evening to everybody all the poets from around the world best wishes congratulations to all the phenomenal poets of this time from Peru India and Bangladesh Swedish Peruvian poet Azril Bacal, Bengali poets Joy Goswami, Nirmalendu Goon, Asad Chaudhry, and Habibullah Sirajee. Then Shamsuddauha Fazal, I'm waiting from Bangladesh. Congratulations, everyone. T M Nurul Alam, Shubhakamana Shabai Roilo Apnader Jonno. Monju Rahman Lebu, my best wishes to all. Krishna Priya Bhattacharya, yes, it's fine. Then Gauri Chaudhry, Pablo Khaled, and Rosanna Camarena are with us as well.
Rosanna is a wonderful poet from Mexico. Uh, Many thanks, Rosanna, for watching. Many thanks, Shobana, Junan Nashi, all the featured poets who are watching. And I know how you feel this initiative, how it became almost like your uh, day-to-day activities, especially the week-to-week activities, I should say. Every weekend, Saturday was almost like the Gronthee's live streaming. So everyone used to wait. So this is the final episode for this session. But although we are finishing, we are ending this session uh, with with the poets who are being featured as part of this session. But also, if the Gronthee will continue its literary initiatives, connecting global poets, philosophers, contemporary philosophers, like I mentioned you before. So if you kindly give a short introduction on Azril before we move on to.
Sure. Azril Bacal was born in Peru in 1941 and is a resident in Uppsala since 1987. He obtained his degrees in agricultural sciences, economics, and agricultural engineering from National Agricultural University La Molina in Peru. He also completed his doctoral studies in sociology from University of California, Santa Barbara, Mexico. He is a member of the Paulo Freire Institute, Sao Paulo, Brazil. He published extensively on the issue of cultural diversity, anti-racism, and citizenship. Some of his publications include Citizenship and National Identity in Latin America, The Persisting Salience of Race and Ethnicity, Citizenship and National Identity from Colonialism to Globalism, etc. He is the author of numerous books, chapters, and journal articles on education and other fields of study. He is currently affiliated with Sociology Department, Uppsala University. Thank you.
Wow. Congratulations, Azril. Congratulations to your phenomenal journey in literature. Uh, many thanks again for joining, at least at the finale of this uh, initiative, and a warm welcome again. So let us start with a bit of talk before we move on to poetry. Uh, why, I mean, especially this is a question, yeah, it may sound a bit stupid, it may sound a bit silly when we ask how love is influencing your work, because poetry perhaps is the uh, is the result of love. Poetry is something that is, uh, I mean, the 10% somehow connected to love. But perhaps we would like to know your own interpretation. This is important because how poet himself is interpreting in his language, especially how the love has influenced his works or her works.
Should I just respond from the top of my head? Is that the question you addressed to me or to everyone?
No, to you perhaps, and then we do ask this to almost everyone, but because we'll start, we'll start with your poetry now, and if you kindly talk on this first, and then we'll move to poetry now.
So my view of poetry, it's like painting with words. It's like making music with words. Then it has the life quality. So I think there is a poet in everyone, and poems need poets to channel these songs, these paintings. I didn't know how the program was going to be, but my first thoughts on the question is that's how I see poetry. And I can say poetry, my father wrote poetry, my youngest son writes poetry.
Wow.
My younger brother writes poetry. So you could say that it's a kind of family virus, is poetry.
Quite identical with Bengali families. Bengali were born poet actually. So let us perhaps move on to your reading. Azril, we'll come back to you. If you kindly read perhaps 3 poems now, and then we'll come back to you for the rest of the poems to be read in the second time.
Fine. I thought I would start with a poem that was inspired in Gothenburg at the book fair,
right,
where Nirmalendu was. It was inspired by Rabindranath Tagore, because When I lived in Peru, I read Gitanjali, Messenger of the King, and Shanti Niketan. So I was familiar in Peru in a Spanish translation to Tagore. So it was interesting to find out that he being a world traveler, Tagore, he came to Peru as well. So he really inspired the name of this poem, dedicated to Rabindranath Tagore, a man of his time. So I will try to read it slowly. It was written in English, and then we can go on with other poems. So this was written 2013 in Gothenburg, inspired by this Bengali Poetry Festival that was organized by Anisur Rahman. So there we go. The laureate poet painted silver nights, golden days in claroscuro. It's a painting technique. Making use of the same technique, the laureate poet also painted his beautiful words, poems, and eloquent letters in claroscuro. Taken by the beauty of the world, it was heightened in Gitanjali by the laureate poet, leaving aside its ugly features in claroscuro. Feeling dizzy in the heights of the Parnassus, our laureate poet preferred to ignore the Chinese wall, the gulf apart, separating Mussolini grandiloquence from Gandhiji's grandeur in claroscuro. Neither in Shantiniketan, nor when traveling as the messenger of the king, our laureate poet kept away from his nostrils the violent sting, the anti-Semitic fascism of Benito, his buffonesque Mecenas, continuing to paint his golden vision of the world in claroscuro. Alas, a man of his time, our laureate poet had no reserves about writing to Albert Einstein and Martin Buber about Shantiniketan, his Semitic parts, always painting our distinguished hero and man of his time in claroscuro. So it's a little bit political. It's an appreciation of Tagore, and claroscuro helped me to understand
The
that
special style developed in Baroque age and painting.
yes,
Wow,
that
great.
he could
Very so.
relate.
I can now understand why you said the poetry is a painting with the words.
Yes,
I can relate this now. Yes.
thank you. Should
Right.
I go on with?
Yeah, please read another one, and then before we move on to poet Habibullah Sirajee.
Should I read a couple of poems now?
Okay.
Fine. Um, let's see. Um, I will read a couple of haikus. They are very short.
Great.
Yes. And haikus, it's better to read yourself in paper. So since they are short, I will read them twice slowly. Okay. And this is haikus for the 4 seasons. So I have a haiku for spring, winter, and winter. And you're familiar with haiku?
Exactly.
Flow.
Exactly.
Good. Spring. You are the rain that drops pearls and dreams on my kitchen garden. You are the rain that drops pearls and dreams on my kitchen garden. Spring at last with us, the cold wind blowing harshly, dancing leaves fly. Spring at last with us, the cold wind blowing harshly, dancing leaves fly. Winter. As snow continues to fall, a dog joyfully jumps up, someone silently cries. As snow continues to fall, a dog joyfully jumps up, someone silently cries. To Sibelius, Vals 3. So it happens that gray days sadly intone a mournful waltz. So it happens that gray days sadly intone a mournful waltz. So it's a taste of haikus. Should I read one more poem or should we stop?
Perhaps I'll come back to you, Azril. I'll come back to you for the rest of the poem. We have Habibullah Sirajee now. Would like to move on to listen to Habibullah Sirajee. Mithul, if you kindly give a short introduction on poet Habibullah
Hello.
Sirajee.
Sure.
Hello.
Poet Habibullah Shiraji was born on 31st December
One
1948.
second. Gunda, perhaps you need to
Hello.
get your video.
Hello, me. Hello, Tidni.
Please, if you kindly get your video on, please.
আমি একটা অনুষ্ঠান করছি, লাইভ অনুষ্ঠান করছি, বুঝছো? পরে কথা বলতে হবে। ওকে।
Sorry, I can't hear you. You are on mute.
Kindly continue. Yes, continue with the introduction. Yeah.
Poet Habibullah Shiraji was born on 31st December 1948 is a Bangladeshi poet. He was awarded Ekushi Padak in 2016 by the government of Bangladesh for his contribution to language and literature. He is serving as the Director General of Bangla Academy since December 2018. Mr. Shiraji is currently serving as the President of Jatiyo Kobita Porishad, National Poetry Council. He so far has 32 poetry books to his credit, as well as several books of essays, novels, and memoir. Some of his poetry collections include Kobiraj Building এর ছাদ, দাও বৃক্ষ দাও দিন, মোম শিল্পের ক্ষয়ক্ষতি, পোশাক বদলের পালা, প্রেমের কবিতা, কৃষ্ণ কৃপান ও অন্যান্য কবিতা, সারিবদ্ধ জ্যোৎস্না, নির্বাচিত কবিতা, ভুলের কোনো শুদ্ধ বানান নেই, শূন্য পূর্বে না উত্তরে, একা ও করুণা, যমজ প্রণালী, কবিতা সমগ্র, আমার জ্যামিতি. He received several awards including Joshua Sahitya Porishad Award, Bangla Academy Literary Award, Ruposhi Bangla Award, Bangabandhu Award, Ekushi Padak, etc.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mithul. Sirajee bhai, this is almost like quite a usual question we start with before we move on to reading. So how would you interpret, how you think that love has been interpreted through your poetry? And especially would like to congratulate the phenomenal journey you have in literature from the Gronthee before you start talking.
Thank you very much, Kaysher. First of all, I thank Gronthee for their attempt of this 100 sessions, 100 poets in different sessions. And it's my pleasure to join the ending session of this 100 poets. I have a small correction regarding my introduction. I am no more the president of Jatiyo Kobita Porishad. Now I am only serving as Director General Bangla Academy. Okay, that much. And regarding love, love is such a thing. The 4-word LOVE in Bangla bhalobasha, bhayakar, law, bhayakar, dintashoyakar. 2 versus 4. 2 versus 4 is 1 versus 2. In math, a love is a calculation between a zero integral to an infinite integral. So when we start in ground, it goes up to eternity. So love has no limit. Love has no peripheral aptitude. Love, sometimes it concentrates in a center, but most of the time it's parabolic. Two ends cannot meet, could be met, so and so, so and so. So before I start my reading, I would like to thank Kaysher that he asked me about love, and I will go through love, affection, blah, 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 blah. But my first choice of reading is a love poem, and it is my earliest poem written in something like 1970, 1969. The name of this poem is A Poem for Shipu.
Wow.
Shipu is...
Sirajee bhai, just many thanks for this mathematical interpretation. You connected calculus as well.
Yes,
So
integral
perhaps
calculus.
perhaps because you are from engineering and mathematical background. That's beautiful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. And before you start reading, I would like to introduce poet Joy Goswami, just joined now. So many thanks, poet Joy Goswami, for joining. And Sirajee bhai, if you kindly continue with your reading.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The name of this poem is A Poem for Shipu. Banglaয় শিপুর জন্য কবিতা. Shipu is someone. Maybe she is a girl. So it starts like that. If somewhere the sun shines, I feel the plant of love growing gradually. And assured, I would now be conscious to recognize Neem and Jarul. Neem and Jarul is local to Bangladeshi plant, and they are similar to each other, but even then, one is bitter and one is not bitter. If thunder roars anytime, the north and south will have showers of rain, and someone taking a shower nearby in the bathroom will come out. If I meet someone in summer, I say, time is passing by, time is passing away. Come, let's sing. Who knows my love? Who knows my love? Who knows? Amar doshor jejon ogotare ke jane. And it's again Rabindranath. And we are somehow with love, with our all affection, with our all sincerity and everything for poem and others, we are dedicated to Rabindranath, and we are liable to Rabindranath also. To continue my reading, I would like to say that. Should I continue?
Please do. Yeah.
I have a small series of writings named Ami General. The English version is The General. And the general is someone, maybe in Bangladesh, maybe in somewhere in the world, who rules the world with his own. And what general used to do is that general. Beyond that, this general can do and undo anything, or can go anywhere he likes. I would like to read Bengali version, then the English version. Ami General Habibullah Sirajee. আমার কাছে সংবাদ আছে শস্য, প্রাণী ও খনির। পোশাক এবং বারুদ ইতিহাস পেতে দিলে মুঘল মাথায় তুলে পানিপথ। পাটিগণিত ডানা বাড়িয়ে বলে সবজি ও জলের ফলাফল। ব্যাঙের ভাষা জানি, খবর রাখি ঐরাবতের। শীষ দিতে পারি, চামড়া তুলে এঁকে দিই পলাশির প্রান্তর। ভক্তকে রক্ত দিয়ে আলাল করলে রসায়নে প্রস্তুত করি আমার তারকা। আমি তো জেনারেল সিরাজি। বুঝতে পারি দিক, রঙের বর্ণনা। পদ্য ও গদ্যের মধ্যে বসিয়ে দিতে পারি 71 কেন্দ্রীয় কারাগার খুলে বিতরণ করি পিতা প্রগতি ও পিস্তল বুঝতে পারি জ্যামিতির ধাক্কায় ক্ষুণ্ণ হলে নড়ে ওঠে পদার্থ বিজ্ঞান ধৈর্য মাটিতে টেকে না আমি জেনারেল সিরাজি Can you hear me?
Yes, we
শোনা
are.
যাচ্ছে না
Yes, I'm
Yes.
No, no, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Beautiful.
So this was এটা ছিল বাংলা ভার্সনটা this was in Bengali I will go through the English version of this poem
Hmm.
I am General Habibullah Shiraji I keep track of grains animals and mines costumes and explosives when history is laid open Mughals venerate Panipat spreading its wings arithmetic shield the issues of vegetables, fish, and water. I know frog language. I am aware of elephant's news. I can whistle. Peeling thy skin, I do paint. The battlefield of Palashi. As fans are veiled behind blood, I manufacture my stars in chemicals. General Shiraji is me. I am General Habibullah Shiraji. I can identify directions and narratives of colors. I can set Akattur in between poetry and prose. Opening the central treasury, I distribute the goodies, further, progress, and pistol. I realize physics gets rocked by geometry's parts. Every passion does not nourish on earth. Every passion does not nourish on earth. I am the general. I am General Habibullah Shiraji. This was the English version. I think I will stop here. And
Thank you, Siraj bhai. We'll come back to you again. We'll come back to
Okay,
you.
thank
Your
you.
poetry reminds me a phenomenal Polish poet, Miroslav Hulub, who received Nobel Prize as well, and who is equally known for using words from science. I mean, he familiarized so many words from xylem, phloem, all these words from pure empirical science. He familiarized in his poetry. Many thanks, Siraji bhai. I will come back to you
Thank
again
you.
to listen more from you. Uh, so we do have Jogushami. We have Jogushami here, but Jogushami needs to. Poor Jogushami needs to get his um, video on and sound on. If you can hear me, please do your video on and do get your sound on as well. Uh, in the meantime, we can move on to poet Nirmalendu Goon. Gunda, you need to get your video on. If you can
No
hear,
video.
if you kindly get your video on. আপনার ভিডিওটা অফ আছে, একটু ভিডিওটা অন করতে হবে।
Oh, start video, right.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah.
Poets are quite technically sound. Shouldn't
We
be
are
any-
now
Yes.
technically sound. Corona has made us technically sound.
Exactly. That's what I can realize now. That's what I can see. Mithul, if you kindly give a short introduction on a phenomenal poets of late 60s in Bangladesh, Nirmalendu Goon. If you kindly give a short introduction and then we'll move on to Gunda.
You see, it's not a very good to introduce myself.
No,
it's
Gunda.
also-
Mithul will read something. If you kindly,
doesn't sound well. Only I can say about me is
No.
my name is Nirmalendu Goon. This
Exactly.
is 100% correct.
that is enough from you.
I'm
That is enough from
100%
you.
correct.
But
I am
let me
Nirmalendu Goon.
read something.
And if I say
That's
I have
enough.
long
The name is Nirmalendu
long
Goon. That
white
is
beards. I have
kindly
long
continue.
white beards. That will be, you can also see me on the screen how long my beards are. And they are white, all white. I'm 76 now. I am 76 years old now.
Dada, you look
And I
18.
have.
Gunda, please let Mithul to read something on you. Please let Mithul to read something on you, and then I'll come back to you in just 1 minute. Mithul, if you kindly continue.
Yeah, sure. It is very hard to give short introduction
Mithuli is speaking.
On these phenomenal poets.
Yes.
And I do
If you
apologize to poet
please
Habibullah
go ahead.
Shiraji for the misinformation that I gave earlier. So on poet Nirmalendu Goon, poet Nirmalendu Goon was born in
Mithuli, any problem with me?
No, I'm just reading about you. আমি আপনার কথা একটু বলছি.
Oh, so you are introducing me?
Yes.
Yes.
That will be good. That will be good.
Thank you. So poet Nirmalendu Goon was born in Barhata, Netrokona district on 21st June 1945. He is a phenomenal Bangladeshi poet known for his accessible verse. He passed the matriculation examination in 1962 and the intermediate examination in 1964 from Netrokona College. In 1969, he earned his Bachelor of Arts degree. He published his poem Notun Kandari on the magazine Uttor Akash. On 21st February 1965, he published the poem Kono Ek Shongramir Drishtite on the magazine Weekly Janata. Nirmalendu Goon's first book of poetry, Premangshur Raktochai, was published in 1970. Since then, he has published 45 collections of poetry and 20 collections of prose. Poet Goon's poetry contains stinging criticism of nouveau riche and a touching description of the contrasting fate of the masses. A love of freedom and faith in the human spirit also permeates many of his poems. A proclaimed Marxist, Mr. Goon has also written urging an upheaval of the poor against the rich. He also has written a number of poems on important personalities, including Rabindranath Tagore, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Lenin, Shakti Chattopadhyay, and many others. He was awarded Bangla Academy Literary Award in 1982, Ekushe Padak in 2001, and Independence Day Award by the government of Bangladesh in 2016. The Liberty of Congress has a collection of 37 titles by Nirmalendu Goon. He was among the 5 Bangladeshi poets who took part at the Gothenburg Book Fair 2013 in Sweden with their publications.
Where he met Azril. So Gunda,
thank you, Mituli.
Before you start reading, let me ask you something. আপনার মানে তরুণ থাকা অবস্থায় যারা কবিতার ভূত যাদের মাথায় চাপে, তো তাদের ভিতরে নানা রকমের একটা ইয়ে থাকে, প্রথমেই একটা নেশা থাকে যে প্রকাশ্যে আগের প্রতিষ্ঠিত কবি যারা কবিতার বিভিন্ন প্রকরণ নিয়ে কাজ করেছেন তাদেরকে অস্বীকার করা। এবং এটা আমার কাছে মনে হয় যে সব কালেই হয়েছে, সব যুগেই হয়েছে। কিন্তু আপনার ক্ষেত্রে একটা ব্যতিক্রমের কথা বলতে চাই যে ধরুন আপনার আমরা শুরু করার আগেই বলেছিলাম আপনার ওই যে চোখ লাল কেন, এই কবিতাটা পড়ার পর থেকে মানে এই নারী কিন্তু খুঁজে বেড়াচ্ছি যে এসে বলবে, আমার মতো অজস্র মানুষ আছে যারা ওই নারী খুঁজে বেড়ায় যে মাথায় হাত রেখে যে নারী বলবে যে তোমার চোখ এত লাল কেন। তো সুতরাং বোঝা যাচ্ছে যে আপনার সত্যিকার অর্থে প্রেমের কবিতা মানে ওই জায়গাটাতেই তো একটা ইয়ে হয়ে গেল, একটা পরীক্ষা হয়ে গেল যে এই কবিতা কিভাবে মানুষজন নিয়েছে। সমকালীন কবিরা তো বটেই, পরবর্তী কবিরাও নানাভাবে তাদের মাঝে একটা জিজ্ঞাসা তৈরি হলো এবং এই মানুষ খুঁজে বেড়ানোর একটা খোঁজ, একটা জিজ্ঞাসা তৈরি হলো, এই মানুষ খুঁজে পাওয়া, তোমার চোখ এত লাল কেন। তো সুতরাং আপনার কবিতায় তো ভালোবাসাটা আছে। দিস ইনিশিয়েটিভ ইজ 100 poets around the world for love, এবং আপনার কবিতা perhaps fits in you wrote quite very much powerful political poetry as well. কিন্তু এই জায়গাতে মনে হলো যে লাভটা আপনার কবিতাকে একদম নানাভাবে মানে ভালোবাসাটা নানাভাবে ছড়িয়ে ছিটিয়ে আছে আপনার কবিতা। তো একটু যদি আপনি এই কথা দিয়ে শুরু করি।
আচ্ছা, ধন্যবাদ
ভালোবাসায় হয়ে উঠলো আপনার।
ধন্যবাদ শাহেদ।
হ্যাঁ।
Thank you Shahed for asking this question. এই কবিতাটি আমি লিখেছিলাম 88-এ। So 12 and 20 plus 20, 32 years ago, I was in a very bad shape. I did not have my own house. That now I have my own home, own house in sitting in my own house. I am telling all these things here with you, sharing. But in 32 years back, I had to hire a sublet in Dhaka Engineering in Buet University's 4th class employees little tin shed. I used to live there, and unfortunately I was separated from my beloved wife. So I was then very alone, lonely. So coming from outside, entering into the room, I had to open the key, lock every night. So in such a position, I wrote this poem. আমি কি কবিতাটি বাংলায় পড়ে তারপর বাংলায় পড়বো কবিতাটি? Hello, Shahed.
Yeah. Gunda, Gunda, you are perhaps talking about Shahed Kays, a friend of mine. This is Ahmed Kaysher, just
Ahmed Kaysher.
Shahed Kays, perhaps a friend of us.
আচ্ছা, আমি তো তোমাকে বলি যে এই কবিতাটি হঠাৎ আবিষ্কৃত হয়েছে। আমি হঠাৎ মোবাইল ফোনে আমি দেখলাম এটা ওয়েলকাম টিউন হিসেবে গ্রামীণ ফোন ব্যবহার করতে শুরু করেছিল। দেন আমি এই কবিতাটি দিকে আবার নজর পড়ে। আমার অনেক কবিতা আছে যেগুলো আমি লিখেছি কিন্তু পরবর্তীকালে সেগুলো আর পড়া হয়ে ওঠেনি। এরকম অনেক কবিতা আছে যারা আবৃত্তিকারদের কণ্ঠে আমি শুনি এবং তখন আমার মনে পড়ে যে আমি এই কবিতাটি লিখেছিলাম। আমার মনে হয় আমার অনেক কবিতায় একটা ঘোরের ভিতরে আমি লিখেছি যেগুলো সম্পর্কে আমি পরবর্তীকালে আর মনে রাখি নাই। কিন্তু এই তোমার চোখ এত লাল কেন এই কবিতাটি যেহেতু ওয়েলকাম টিউন হিসেবে গ্রামীণ ফোন ব্যবহার করতে শুরু করলো, তখন এক পর্যায়ে আমি গ্রামীণ ফোনকে বললাম যে তোমরা যে আমার কবিতা ব্যবহার করছো ওয়েলকাম টিউন হিসেবে, and the subscriber who subscribe the welcome tune, they pay 35 taka every month. So you should share the profit with me. Then they did not care about what I wrote in my Facebook. Then my good friend Mustafa Jabbar became the telecommunication minister. So I applied to him, please take action. They did not take my permission. They are using my poems as welcome tune in the Grameen phone, in the mobile phone companies. Then they came to settle it down with me. So I got 3 lakh taka as revenue for using this poem along with many others.
Gunda,
so this poem was not only popular, it also gave me some cash money.
Wow.
From the multinational corporation like Grameen Phone.
Please do share.
Yeah.
We do have share on that 3 lakh.
Right, I wish I share, but virtually no. I only can share virtually.
Is it possible to read this poem? I will come back to you again. But if
yes, I can read this poem.
Read this poem.
তোমার চোখ এত লাল কেন? আমি বলছি না ভালোবাসতেই হবে, আমি চাই কেউ একজন আমার জন্য অপেক্ষা করুক, শুধু ঘরের ভিতর থেকে দরজা খুলে দেওয়ার জন্য। বাইরে থেকে দরজা খুলতে আমি এখন ক্লান্ত। আমি বলছি না ভালোবাসতেই হবে, আমি চাই কেউ আমাকে খেতে দিক, আমি হাত পাখা নিয়ে কাউকে আমার পাশে বসে থাকতে বলছি না। আমি জানি এই ইলেকট্রিকের যুগ নারীকে মুক্তি দিয়েছে স্বামী সেবার দায় থেকে। আমি চাই কেউ একজন জিজ্ঞেস করুক আমার জল লাগবে কিনা, নুন লাগবে কিনা, পাট শাক ভাজার সঙ্গে আরো একটা তেলে ভাজা শুকনো মরিচ লাগবে কিনা, এটো বাসন গেঞ্জি রুমাল আমি নিজেই ধুতে পারি। আমি বলছি না ভালোবাসতেই হবে, আমি চাই কেউ একজন ঘরের ভেতর থেকে দরজা খুলে দিক, কেউ আমাকে কিছু খেতে বলুক, কাম বাসনার সঙ্গী না হোক, কেউ অন্তত আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করুক তোমার চোখ এত লাল কেন।
কাম বাসনার সঙ্গী না হোক, কেউ একজন জিজ্ঞেস করুক তোমার চোখ এত লাল কেন। গন্ধা আপনার কাছে আসছি এই গল্পটাও শুনতে
কায়সার,
চাই। আপনি প্রেমাংশুর রক্ত চাইতে বলেছিলেন, প্রেমাংশুর রক্ত চাইতে তো
কায়সার,
বলেছিলেন যে আমার উত্তেজনা যে কোনো নারীর বুকে নিমিষে জন্মাতে পারে
কায়সার,
রক্তময় একটি কবর। আপনার কাছে আমরা
কায়সার,
একটু সিরাজি ভাইয়ের কাছে যাচ্ছি, আপনার
কায়সার,
কাছে ফিরে
আমাকে
আসছি।
একটু আমাকে একটু যেতে হবে একটু।
ঠিক আছে
I beg you pardon.
না সিরাজি ভাই, তাহলে আপনার কাছে can you hear more poetry about at least about 1 or 2 poems if that's okay?
একটা কবিতা আর একটা।
একটা, আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
ঠিক আছে।
আমি বাংলায় পড়ি।
ঠিক, প্লিজ গো অন।
তিনি বাংলাদেশের কথা বললেন, তিনি বাংলাদেশের কথা বলবেন। সব পথ মিলেছে এ মাঠে, রৌদ্র ও বাতাস দেখে মানুষের ঢল, রক্তের ভেতর থেকে উঠে আসা ঘামের মিছিল, পাল্লা খোলা বজ্র কণ্ঠে মাটির দলিল। তিনি বাংলাদেশের কথা বলবেন। নুন বলেছিল চাই, কাটাও বলেছে চাই, মেঘ বলেছিল চাই, টিয়াও বলে চাই, সূর্যের গন্ধের মতো মার্চ বলে চাই। তিনি বললেন তাই আমাদের স্বাধীনতা চাই। আস্তিনের ঝুল আর স্যান্ডেলের ফিতে, পাইপের ডাটি ছুঁয়ে চশমার কাচ, গাঢ় হলে ঘন হলে বঙ্গবন্ধু হয়, নামে নামে ধুলিকণা বাংলাদেশ কয়। 7.5 কোটি ছিল, ভূগোলের ছাপ ছিল, ছিল বাংলা ভাষা, লালনের মর্ম ছিল, রবীন্দ্রনাথের পলি, ছিল বঙ্গোপসাগরে ধোয়া স্বপ্ন শস্য বীজ। তিনি বাংলাদেশের কথা বলবেন, তিনি বাংলাদেশের কথা বললেন। আপনাদের সবাইকে আন্তরিক ধন্যবাদ। আমার একটি ব্যক্তিগত কাজের জন্য সবার কাছ থেকে বিদায় নিচ্ছি, আমাকে ক্ষমা করে দিবেন। শুভরাত্রি।
অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ সিরাজি ভাই for joining and reading these wonderful poems,
Thank you.
sharing your
Thank you very
thoughts.
much.
Great.
Yeah.
Look forward to
Thank
meeting
you.
you again.
Yes.
And
Hope
especially
so.
looking
Hope
to
so.
having
Okay.
having you as part
Thank
of
you very much.
this event here in London, especially International Poetry Festival. Look forward to this and have a wonderful rest of the evening. Many thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining again.
Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
We will move on to poet Nirmalendu Goon soon again, but let's have perhaps another 2 poems from Azril, and then we'll go back.
আমি কি আমার আমি কবিতা পড়বো?
একদম, প্লিজ। হ্যাঁ,
আচ্ছা, আমি আর একটি প্রেমের কবিতা পড়ি। এটা যেহেতু special emphasis is given on love, so I read love poems for you all,
exactly. Gunda,
for the poets participating and the listeners.
Let me have the privilege to say just one word. Remember you wrote, আমার উদ্ধত নাক যে কোনো নারীর বুকে নিমিষে জন্মাতে পারে রক্তময় একটি কবর। In প্রেমাংশু রক্ত চাই, perhaps I read it 30 years ago, perhaps at least 35 years ago. So এখন এই স্মৃতি এই উদ্ধত নাক কত নারীর বুকে কত রক্তময়
I remember. I remember some of them, but I do not have. I cannot say from lot of poems where it is. Where it is now. I have around 50 poetry collections. So I have 4 volumes of poetry. So this will be difficult for me to find out a specific poem. It will need some time to find it out. So better I read to save time. Better I read a poem that I have already selected and they are in front of my eyes. I can do one thing. I mean, aajke, the latest poem that I wrote today, I want to share this with my fellow poets.
Good.
Mituli, and you can help me translate because it is not been translated. But
Right.
this is the poem that I wrote in the afternoon before I went to sleep. আমি কিভাবে সময় বাঁচাই how I save time. গত 50 বছর ধরেই আমি আমার ইচ্ছার বিরুদ্ধে ঘুমাচ্ছি। আমি কখন ঘুমাই এই প্রশ্নের উত্তরে আমি পুরুষদের বলি আমি তো সর্বদা স্বাস্থ্য বিধি এবং ডাক্তারের নির্দেশ মেনে চলি। একে তো করোনার উৎপাত, তার উপর হার্টের বাইপাস, বুঝিনি তো, তাই আমার যত কাজই থাকুক 1টা থেকে 2টোর মধ্যেই আমি ঘুমিয়ে পড়ি। নারী হলে একই প্রশ্নের উত্তরে আমি বলি কিসের ডাক্তার, কিসের স্বাস্থ্যবিধি, আমি তো 3টের আগে ঘুমানোর কথা ভাবতেই পারি না। শেষ পর্যন্ত আমি ঘুমাতে যাই প্রায় রাত্রি ভোর করে 4টা থেকে 4:30টার ভিতরে। কখনো কখনো বা 5টাও বেজে যায়। তখন আসন্ন ভোরের রং এবং দেয়াল ঘড়ির নির্লজ্জতা দেখে দেখে আমার খুব হাসি পায়। এইভাবে মিথ্যা কথা বলে আমি সময় বাঁচাই। Do you understand what I said?
Exactly. Please continue with more. Perhaps another one.
My answer to questions forwarded by men and forwarded by women is different. Now I read out another poem. শুধু তোমার জন্য। তোমাকে স্পর্শ করতে গিয়েও কতবার যে আমি গুটিয়ে নিয়েছি হাত। তোমাকে স্পর্শ করতে গিয়েও কতবার যে আমি গুটিয়ে নিয়েছি হাত, সে কথা আমার ঈশ্বর জানেন। তোমাকে আমার ভালোবাসার কথা বলতে গিয়েও কতবার যে আমি বলিনি, সে কথা আমার ঈশ্বর জানেন। তোমার হাতের মৃদু কড়া নাড়ার শব্দ শুনবার জন্য দরজার সঙ্গে চুম্বক খণ্ডের মতো আমার কর্ণযুগলকে আমি গেঁথে রেখেছিলাম। কোন নির্জন মধ্যরাতে তুমি এসে ডেকে বলবে, এই ওঠো ওঠো, আমি এসেছি, আমি। আর আমি এ কি শুনলাম এমন উল্লাসে আমি নিজেকে ছুড়ে দিচ্ছি তোমার উদ্দেশ্যে। ঠিক এরকম একটি দৃশ্যের কথা কতবার যে আমি মনে মনে কল্পনা করেছি, সে কথা আমার ঈশ্বর জানেন। আমার ঈশ্বর জানেন আমার চুল পেকেছে তোমার জন্য। আমার ঈশ্বর জানেন আমার জ্বর এসেছে তোমার জন্য। আমার ঈশ্বর জানেন আমার মৃত্যু হবে তোমার জন্য। তারপর ও ঈশ্বরের মতো কোনো একদিন তুমিও জানবে আমি জন্মেছিলাম তোমার জন্য, শুধু তোমার জন্য।
কথা হবে না। গন্ধা আপনার কাছে আসছি আবারও একটু। let us move on to Azril for his reading, and then I'll come back to you. In the meantime, before I move on to Azril, Mithul, if you kindly read some audience's feedback. if that's okay.
কায়সার জয়দা কি শুনতে পাচ্ছেন একটু দেখো তো উনি বললেন যে
No, because sound and video is still off.
because of
So if you kindly ring,
okay,
if you kindly ring him and see why,
yeah,
just needs the video and the sound on. Mithul, if you continue with this feedback.
শাহেদ কায়সার উনি প্রপারলি গাইছেন বুঝলাম
Sorry, I got disconnected. Would you like me to read some comments?
yes
Okay, sure. There are lots of comments, so I'll read as many as I can. Afroza Parveen, I'm joining. Happy to see all of you, all of my favorite poets. It's an excellent program. Thanks a lot. Best wishes. AK Sheram, প্রিয় কবি সিরাজি ভাইয়ের কথা ও কবিতা দোলা দিয়ে গেল হৃদয়ে ও মনে। অভিনন্দন প্রিয় কবি। জুয়েল মাজহার, আমি সিরাজি ভাইয়ের একটি কবিতার অনুবাদ করেছিলাম তাকে না জানিয়ে। শাহেদ কায়েস, শুনছি কবি হাবিবুল্লাহ সিরাজির কবিতা খুব ভালো লাগছে, ভীষণ ভালো লাগলো, প্রেম নিয়ে তার ব্যাখ্যা। অভিনন্দন সিরাজি ভাই। জুয়েল মাজহার, জয়দাকে স্বাগতম। মোর্শেদ আক্তার, চিরদিনের গুন্দা। মোস্তাকদিন, খুব ভালো লাগছে, অপূর্ব সম্মিলন। সৌমনা দাশগুপ্ত, কবি নির্মলেন্দু গুণকে আমার শ্রদ্ধা জানাই। কৌশিক বণিক্য, প্রিয় কবি। শাহেদ কায়েস, চিরতরুণ গুন্দা, দেখছি শুনছি, অভিনন্দন আমাদের মহাপ্রেমিক কবি নির্মলেন্দু গুণ। শামীম রেজা, নক্ষত্রের মেলায় গ্রন্থি আজ আলোকিত, আমরাও আনন্দিত। মানস চৌধুরী, সশ্রদ্ধ প্রণাম গুন্দা। Sri Ganguly, absolutely beautiful, thanks for this. সৌমনা দাশগুপ্ত, চিরতরুণ কবি নির্মলেন্দু গুণ। শাহেদ কায়েস, অভিনন্দন গুন্দা, আপনার সবগুলো কবিতাই ভালো লাগলো, বিশেষ করে আমি কিভাবে সময় বাঁচাই কবিতাটি ভীষণ ভালো লেগেছে। কিসের ডাক্তার, কিসের স্বাস্থ্যবিধি, দেয়াল ঘড়ি নির্লজ্জতা, আহা আহা, সাধু সাধু। উত্তিয়া বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়, তোমার চোখ লাল কেন, খুব ভালো।
কিসের ডাক্তার, কিসের স্বাস্থ্যবিধি।
একদম একদম একদম। Let's move on to Azril. Azril, if you kindly read some more poems.
Hi, a pleasure. You know, once I had a friend in Santa Barbara in California from India, and he learned Bengali to read Tagore in Bengali.
Actually, there are many, There are many, Azril. Abu Sayyid Ayub, another Urdu-speaking literary critic, who learned Bengali just to read Tagore. William Radice, perhaps, they learned Tagore. They just learned Bengali just to read Tagore.
So it's about love. So this is a short poem, and it's called Twilight Attraction. Twilight Attraction. I like you and have not even met you. It is like today's sunset, greeting the next unknown dawn, to rise with the next morning. So it's just a twilight attraction. And I like her. I haven't even met her, but it is like today's sunset, greeting the dawn, to rise with the next morning. So that's a short one. So did it come through? Was it okay to?
Exactly, fantastic. If you continue with perhaps another two more.
Fine. So this is about the love between night and day. Future forms seek refuge in the blackness of night, vanish in the dark shadow of the bygone days. Discarded voices seek refuge in the silence of night, vanish in the dark shadow of the bygone days. In the darkness of every night, during the mysterious dance of day and night, night gets pregnant with a new day. So this is about love between night and day. Let's see.
One more, please, Azril.
Okay, I'm coming. So, fado, it's Portuguese, kind of nostalgic kind of song. In Peru, we have something similar called Yaravíes. So this one is, the name is Autumn Fado. Fado being this nostalgic Portuguese song. There we go. Drunk with the aroma of autumn, cider, cinnamon, and memories, I stumble and slowly roll. Under a flickering light, I fall and fall forever for the rest of my life. I roll down an abyss, rolling smoothly and slowly, a wheel rolling down, rolling without brakes, rolling down slowly, rolling without pain, rolling down in certain hole. A carpet of lush green warmly embraces me as the evening arrives, with her earthly and sensuous freshness and a throbbing bosom. While lying flat on the ground, I receive breath and warm cover from a myriad fallen angels by my side, a symphony of color, agonizing leaves, with gravity in their voices, so playful in bygone days, now turned into a complaining chorus, intoning a fado, and I join their autumn song from my fallen autumn, a nostalgic autumn song, Sibelius waltz trees, muted into a murmur, a fallen twilight, a withered shadow of a fall gone blue. The brown and violet hour looms with no mercy. It catches up with us. The time is ripe, the time to reap a harvest of farewells.
Many thanks, Azril. Just I noticed that Oz Hardwick, a friend of ours, a professor of creative literature in Leeds Metropolitan University, said, what I'm enjoying about this session is the conversation weaving around the poems. And also, the poem about love between night and day was beautiful. So many thanks, Oz, for watching and for these inspiring comments. We'll have some more comments. Mithul, if you kindly read some more comments before we move on to Gunda again. And Shamim Shahan, if you kindly ask Joy Goswami, Joyda to get his video on and sound on. We can't connect him unless until his video and sound is on. So Mithul, if you kindly read some more audience's feedback before we move on to Gunda again. Many thanks, Azril. Many thanks for the beautiful poetry.
For inviting me to this last episode.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Gunda,
Okay, Krishnapriya
পড়ুন।
আমাকে
Krishnapriya
আমাকে
Raju?
আমাকে কিছু বলছো? আমি কি যে
একদম,
কবিতা পড়েছি
আমরা
আরেকটা
আপনার কবিতায় ফিরে আসছি। মিতুল একটু যদি অডিয়েন্সের ফিডব্যাক গুলো একটু পড়ে নিন, তারপরে
আচ্ছা 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 ওকে ওকে I will be here. I will be here till you finish it.
ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
কৃষ্ণপ্রিয় ভট্টাচার্য, অভিনন্দন, শিলিগুড়ি থেকে শুনছি। রয়েস রহমান, আই এম ওয়াচিং ফ্রম নিউ ইয়র্ক, বেস্ট উইশেস ফর অল। সৌভিক দে সরকার, অনেক অনেক শুভেচ্ছা, শুভকামনা জানিয়েছেন। নাজ নাইম, শামসুদ্দোহা ফজল লিখেছেন, আমার প্রিয় কবি নির্মলেন্দু গুণকে দেখে ভালো লাগছে। Rosanna Camarena, wonderful work with poetry, don't stop please. তারপরে জুয়েল মাজহার, poet Azril Bacal is a good poet. Junan Nashid, many thanks Azril for your beautiful poems. Shomona Dashgupta, খুব ভালো লাগলো আজরিলের কবিতা। Shahid Kayes, thanks poet Azril Bacal for your wonderful poems. সৌমন্য দাশগুপ্ত আরো লিখেছেন, রবীন্দ্রনাথ সারা পৃথিবীর সঙ্গে আমাদের সেতু বন্ধন করে গেছেন তার কবিতা ও গানের মাধ্যমে। সারওয়ার চৌধুরী, সুন্দর দেখছি, ভালো লাগছে।
So audience is
That's all
watching.
I've got.
Well, Sarwar Chowdhury is a friend of ours, who is a poet who's watching from Middle East. So many thanks for these wonderful comments. So Gunda, let us have some more poems, if that's okay. আপনার কাছে আরো কিছু কবিতা শুনতে চাই, ভালোবাসার। কি সুন্দর বললেন যে এই কবিতাটা সবার প্রিয়, those especially আমাদের একটা সময় এই কবিতাগুলোই পাঠ করেছি তোমার জন্য, আমার ঈশ্বর জানেন। এরপরে একদিন তুমি এই শেষের লাইনটা, এটা এক সময় তো খুব পাঠ করতে করতে এক সময় মুখস্থ ছিল। আপনার কাছে আরো কিছু কবিতা?
আমার কবিতা তো নারী চিত্ত জয়ের চ্যালেঞ্জ নিয়ে লেখা।
এবং ওই সফলতাটা কি বলবেন? কারণ আপনার প্রেমাংশুর রক্ত চাইতে আমি বলেছিলাম একটু আগে, আমি একটু লক্ষ্য করেও দেখলাম আপনি লিখেছিলেন, আমার উদ্ধত নাক যে কোনো নারীর বুকে নিমিষে জন্মাতে পারে রক্তময় একটি কবর। এবং কত কবর আপনি রচনা করেছেন, কত রক্তময় কবর রচনা করেছেন এই উদ্ধত নাক।
এই নবনীতা দেব সেন, আমাদের নোবেল লরিয়েট অমর্ত্য সেনের ফার্স্ট ওয়াইফ, তিনি তো নিজেও ভালো একজন লেখিকা ছিলেন। তিনি আমার সম্পর্কে একটা লেখা লিখেছেন, যেটা আমার রচনাবলীর নবম খণ্ডে ভূমিকা হিসেবে আমি ব্যবহার করেছি। তিনি লিখেছেন যে আমি কবি নির্মলেন্দু গুণের প্রেমের কবিতা একটি সংকলন আমাকে কে একজন উপহার দিয়েছিল। সেই উপহারটি পাওয়ার পরে আমি কবিতার বইটি খুলে প্রথমেই চমকে উঠলাম যে কবির উৎসর্গপত্রটি দেখে। সেই উৎসর্গপত্রে কবি বলেছেন যে যেসব যাদের, দাঁড়া আমি এটা বের করে বলছি, ভুল বলা উচিত, গিভ মি মিনিট অর সো। আচ্ছা আমি সেটা বইটা তো জানি না যে কথাটা বলবো। আচ্ছা এই যে পেয়েছি বইটা, সেই বইয়ের উৎসর্গপত্রে আছে, প্রেম ও কামের অগ্নিতে যাদের হৃদয়কে আমি দগ্ধ করেছি।
বাহ বাহ,
তো এটা হচ্ছে আমার প্রেমের কবিতা উৎসর্গপত্র। তো নবনীতা দি বলছেন, আমি অবাক বিস্মিত হয়ে গেলাম, একজন কবি এত গর্ব এত অহংকার নিয়ে সে উৎসর্গ করছে এই কথা বলে, যাদের হৃদয়কে তিনি দগ্ধ করেছেন, তার জন্য তিনি তাদেরকে স্মরণ করছেন।
এটা কি ইনডাইরেক্টলি আসলে এক ধরনের আহ্বান করেও, আপনি যদিও বলেছেন কাম বাসনার সঙ্গী না হোক,
না এটা ঠিকই আছে,
কাম বাসনে আসলে আরো বেশি অনুপ্রাণিত করার জন্য এটা বললেন যে কাম বাসনার সঙ্গী না হোক।
না তা একদিক থেকে এটা একটা সর্ট অফ ট্র্যাপ ইনভাইটেশন,
একদম,
আর একদিক থেকে এটা ইটস অলসো এ ভেরি অনেস্ট কনফেশন। এটা একই সঙ্গে ইনভাইটেশন এন্ড কনফেশন।
That's like what I can clearly say. Exactly.
আচ্ছা শুনো, এখন আমাদের কবিতা পড়ি। ওটা কিছু নয়। আমার অনেক তরুণ বন্ধু আমাকে বলে, দাদা আমার আপনার কবিতা কাছে আমি ঋণী। কেন ঋণী? যে আমি আপনার কবিতার বই আমার প্রেমিকাকে উপহার দিয়েছিলাম, সে এই আপনার কবিতা পাঠ করার পর সে আমার প্রেমকে স্বীকার করেছে। তো অনেকে বলে, যে আমার একজন প্রেমিকা আছে, সে আমাকে ধরা দিচ্ছে না, আমি আপনার কোন বইটা তাকে উপহার দিতে পারি। আমি তাকে কয়েকটা বইয়ের নাম বলি এবং বলি সবচেয়ে ভালো হয় তুমি আমার নির্বাচিত কবিতার যে সংকলন বা প্রেমের কবিতা উপহার দাও। যদি তোমার প্রেমে ব্যর্থ হও তাহলে বই ফেরত দিয়ে আমার কাছ থেকে ডবল টাকা নিয়ে যাবে। তো যারা বলেছে তারা কেউ এখন পর্যন্ত ব্যর্থ হয়নি।
ফেরত দিতে হয়
না, রবীন্দ্রনাথের কবিতা পাঠিয়ে বা পড়ে অনেকে ব্যর্থ হয়েছেন। অন্য কবিতার কথা আমি জানি না, আমি সবচেয়ে বড় কবিতার কথাই বললাম। কিন্তু আমার কবিতা পড়ে
আচ্ছা, গুন্দাইতে কি নারীরা উপহার দিতে পারবে?
হ্যাঁ, দিতে পারবে।
পাবে কিনা নারীরা, মানে নারীরাও সমান ফল পাবে কিনা?
আমি তো পুরুষ আমি তো পুরুষ, আমি জানি না নারীর হৃদয় মন সব তো জানি না। কবি রবীন্দ্রনাথ বলেছেন দেবানো জানন্তি, দেবেরও দেবতাদেরও জানা নেই। তো আমি এই রহস্য ভেদ করার জন্য আমি একেবারে খুব শৈশব থেকেই নারী নিমগ্ন। আমার বোনদেরকে প্রলুব্ধ করার জন্য, আমাদের বোনদেরকে আমার অনুগত করার জন্য আমি খুব ছোটবেলা থেকে আমার বুদ্ধি মেধাকে প্রয়োগ করে চলেছি। এবং যখন কাব্য রচনা করি তখন সেই কাব্য রচনার আমি একটু সাক্ষাৎকারে বলেছিলাম যে নারী চিত্ত জয়ের বাসনা কবির জন্য বড় চ্যালেঞ্জ।
What an honest confession.
আচ্ছা, এখন আমি একটা কবিতা পড়ি। এই কবিতাটি ও খুব পরিচিত, আলোচিত। ওটা কিছু নয়, এইবার হাত দাও, টের পাচ্ছ আমার অস্তিত্ব? পাচ্ছ না? একটু দাঁড়াও, আমি তৈরি হয়ে নেই। এইবার হাত দাও, টের পাচ্ছ আমার অস্তিত্ব? পাচ্ছ না? তোমার জন্মান্ধ চোখে শুধু ভুল অন্ধকার। ওটা নয়, ওটা চুল, এই হলো আমার আঙুল, এইবার স্পর্শ করো। না না না, ওটা নয়, ওটা কণ্ঠনালী, গরল বিশ্বাসী এক শিল্পীর মাটির ভাস্কর্য। ওটা অগ্নি নয়, ওই আমি, আমার যৌবন, সুখের সামান্য নিচে কেটে ফেলা যন্ত্রণার কবন্ধ প্রেমিক। ওখানে কি খোঁজো তুমি? ওটা কিছু নয়, ওটা দুঃখ, রমণীর ভালোবাসা না পাওয়ার চিহ্ন বুকে নিয়ে। ওটা নদী, নীল হয়ে জমে আছে ঘাসে, এর ঠিক ডান পাশে। ওইখানে হাত দাও, হ্যাঁ ওটা বুক, ওইখানে হাত রাখো, ওটাই হৃদয়। ওই বুকে থাকে প্রেম, থাকে স্মৃতি, থাকে সুখ, প্রেমের সিম্ফনি। ওই বুকে প্রেম ছিল, স্মৃতি ছিল, সব ছিল, তুমি থাকোনি।
কত কত বিরোহীদের ভেতরটা কেঁপে উঠবে।
আচ্ছা, আমি কি এখানে যেহেতু এখানে অনেক এটা কি বলে
নন বেঙ্গলি
বাংলা ভাষা জানেন না এমন কবি এরকম শ্রোতাও রয়েছেন। আমি একটা কবিতার অনুবাদ, এই কবিতার অনুবাদটা আমার, I want to read out the translation of it in English for my Swedish poet friend.
Yes, and many audiences who are watching from non-Bengali background. Yes.
Okay. Especially I dedicate this poem for Mr. I forgot his name.
Azril. Azril.
He's from poem. He's from Sweden. I probably met him 7 years back when I visited Sweden in Gothenburg Book Fair. And since I have long white hair, beard, so he could remember me easily, but I cannot honestly remember him since he doesn't have long, tall white beards like me. So yet then he told about Uppsala. I also was in Uppsala, so
Yes.
he might be from
No, that's what he
Uppsala.
said. That's what he said, Gunda. He said he
Uh,
met you in Gothenburg, a book fair. He already met you. So he can still remember your bearded.
he said he remembered me, but
Exactly.
I'm sorry to say it that honestly I could not remember him since he doesn't have any special tall beards like me. So he easily could recognize because he saw it a very long, tall, bearded man coming from Tagore's land. Anyway, thanks to him, since he recognized me, I read out this poem for him, my
Thank
fellow
you.
poet friend from Sweden, whom I met in 2013. That's nothing. ওটা কিছু না, এই কবিতাটা আমি পড়ছি. It has
Bah.
been translated by Farida Mojid. That's nothing. Now put your hand here. Can you feel my existence? You can't? Wait. Let me get ready. Now put your hand here. Can't you feel my existence? No. In your eyes, only blind. There is only blunder and darkness. Not that. That's here. These are my fingers. Touch now. Oh, no. Not that. That's my Adam's apple. The sculptural work of an artist who believed in swallowing hemlock. That's not fire. That's me. My manhood, cut off just a little below happiness. A lover's headless body of pain. What are you looking for in there? There's nothing. That's sorrow, bearing marks of unrequited love of women. That is a river on the grass, where it is been black and blue. Just on the right side of it, there put your hand. Yes, that is the heart, breast. Keep your hand there. That's where the heart is. That's where love dwells. That's where memory, joy, and the whole symphony of love dwell. There was love in that heart. There was memory. There rested everything. Only you didn't.
Kaysar, you are in
Many
mute.
thanks, Gunda. Many thanks. Let us have some audience's feedback in the
আমার
meantime.
ইংরেজি পড়া কি বোধগম্য হয়েছে ঠিক মতো?
Ekdom. Azril, this poem was dedicated to you. This poem was read by Nirmalendu Goon for you, and that is an English translation. He was remembering those days. He perhaps met you. Remember, you mentioned the 7 years ago in Gothenburg. So,
Thank
Gunda,
you.
let's have some
I
audience.
don't understand Bengali. That's my problem.
No, he read it in English. He
Yes.
read it in English just for you. He read
Okay.
the English translation just for you. You can watch it perhaps. You can watch it afterwards. And this is available. This is in live streaming. So if you watch it afterwards,
You send me the link.
exactly. Joy Goswami is still having trouble in. I can see his video is off and then sound is still not on. Shamim Shahan, if you kindly ring again and see whether there's a problem with
the Calcutta poets are some way or other, they are not very capable in handling modern technology, I think.
Exactly.
Actually,
That's what I can see. They have only
actually what's happening,
especially
জয় গোস্বামী তিনি বারবার চাচ্ছেন বা ঢুকতে পারছেন না, ওনার মেটা বাসায় নেই যে টেকনিক্যালি কাজ করেন আর কি অনেক মানে
that means he depends on his daughter to do it for him. Why shall he? Why shall one
please tell him of when you
depend on other?
Yeah.
Depend on other and trouble
Keep
other
trying,
to
keep
prove
trying.
that I am a poet, I don't know technology.
Oh no, Gunda, you are this new generation, like a new generation.
No,
When it's older man.
No, he was talking
I always embrace new technology that comes on my way.
exactly.
I wrote my first book on technological developments on Yahoo, a book named Antarjal, Internet, Antarjal.
Wow.
I wrote two books, Mutophoner Kabbo, the poems written on mobile phone. I named Mutophone, mobile phone as Mutophone, since we can now keep the mobile phone in our thumb. So I wrote Mutophoner Kabbo, that the word, Bengali word Mutophone, and I invented, I gave this name, Mutophoner Kabbo.
Exactly. Gunda, let's have some audiences feedback. Mithul, if you kindly read some feedback from the audiences, and then we'll come back again.
Manush Chaudhary has written Aha Nari Chitto Joy Challenge, Ashadharan Gunda, Shumon Bonik Joy Hok Kobita Joy Hok Premer, Taposh Roy, so profound, so enriching, love all. Shomona Dashgupta Darun Lagche Gunda Kotha Shunte Nijer Monei Hashchi. Shahid Kais Acha Nari Hridoy Joyer Kobita Likhen Gunda, eta bole প্রেম শিকারী গুন্দা যে আমাদেরকেও শিকারী উস্কানি দিচ্ছেন তার কি হবে? Dear Mazhar, Gunda, I myself hail from Netrokona. She has begged several lady love, but I couldn't, as many as he did. Why? I said to myself. Himadri Roy, Ashuri Amar Shraddha Achi, Torontote, Lopa Shaha Sathe Achi.
Thank you. Many thanks, Mithul. Gunda, jokes apart, you, like you said, you introduced many words actually in Bengali day-to-day language. Mutophone, for an example, আপনি বলার পরে মনে হলো আপনি মুঠোফোন শব্দটাও আপনার কাছ থেকে আসা, এবং ভালোবাসার কবিতা, যেটা ভালোবাসার কবিতা, এবং একটু এর ফাঁকে একটু হালকা একটু কৌতুক করে নেই, আপনার এই যে দাড়ি, এই যে আপনার এই শ্মশ্রু নিয়ে বোঝাই যাচ্ছে আপনি রবীন্দ্রনাথকে হয়তো অনুসরণ করেছেন। নারীরা কি বলেন আপনার এই শ্মশ্রু নিয়ে? আপনি তো ওখানে
একটু আগে একটা কবিতা পড়লাম না, যেটা আজকে লেখা, আমি কিভাবে সময় বাঁচাই, হাউ ডু আই সেভ টাইম। এখন আমি কিভাবে সময় বাঁচাই কবিতার সঙ্গে যদি ভাবো, তাহলে বুঝবে যে দাড়ি রাখাটা সময় বাঁচানোর একটা কৌশল মাত্র। তুমি দুদিন পরে পরে দাড়ি কাটবে, চিন্তা করে দেখো, এই ৭৫ বছর বয়সে আমি যদি সপ্তাহে একবার করেও দাড়ি কাটতাম, তাতে যদি আমার আধা ঘন্টা যদি নষ্ট হতো, তাহলে এই ৭৫ বয়সের মধ্যে ২০ বছর ধরো তো দাড়ি উঠতে উঠতে লেগে যায় ১৫ বছর কাছাকাছি লেগে যায়, ১৮ বছর। তাহলে এই যে বাকি প্রায় ৫০ বছর, আমার 76, তাহলে আমার 2 years less than 50 years আমার দাড়ি কাটতে হতো। এবং দাড়ি কাটলে ৫০ বছরে প্রতিদিন আধা ঘন্টা যদি ব্যয় হয়, সপ্তাহে একদিনও যদি কাটো, তাহলে ৪ সপ্তাহে, এক মাসে তোমার ৪ দুগুণে ৮, না ৪-এর অর্ধেক ২ ঘন্টা যাচ্ছে। প্রতি মাসে ২ ঘন্টা গেলে, প্রতি মাসে ২ ঘন্টা সময় যদি দাড়ি কাটায় ব্যয় হয়, তাহলে ১ বছরে ১২ মাসে ২৪ ঘন্টা ব্যয় হচ্ছে। ২৪ ঘন্টা ব্যয় হচ্ছে। প্রতি বছরে তোমার ২ দিন চলে যাচ্ছে দাড়ি কাটতে কাটতে। ৫০ বছর যদি তোমার বয়স হয়, তাহলে তোমার ১০০ ঘন্টা চলে যাবে শুধু দাড়ি কাটার পেছনে।
না কিন্তু গুন্দা যে কথাটা বলছি এটা তো সত্যি, আপনি যে কথাটা বলেন এটা সত্যি, কিন্তু আপনি যে কবিতায় যে আরাধনাপূর্ণ চুম্বনের কথা বলেন, এই চুম্বনের ক্ষেত্রে দাড়িটা মানে ওয়েদার ইট কামস অন ইউর ওয়ে, এটা এই দাড়িটা নারীরা কি বলছে নাকি?
এটা আমার খুব অসুবিধা হয় না,
আচ্ছা,
যারা আমাকে চুম্বন করে তাদের অসুবিধা হতে পারে।
আচ্ছা।
আমি আমি চুম্বন চুম্বন পাওয়ার চাইতে চুম্বন খাওয়ার ব্যাপারে আগ্রহী বেশি।
Wow, so you like to be kissed instead of
I
kissing.
like to kiss myself. I am not interested in whether she kisses me or me not. If she allows me to kiss, that will be enough. Good.
Great, great, fantastic. Gunda, I'll come back to you. We are approaching to
Okay.
the end. We still couldn't connect the Goswami. This is quite unfortunate. But let us go back to Azril. Azril, if you kindly add your concluding note, we are approaching to the end of this session. We have huge fun actually, and some powerful poems that are read in this session. I'm sure it mesmerized, it enthralled myself, and also it has, I think, enthralled our audiences too, especially the love poetry. This time, love and humanity needs to be promoted more than any other time actually. So to me, it was a session of fun. It was a session of quite serious, powerful poetry. So Azril, if you kindly add your concluding note, if you'd like to read any more poems, that's fine too.
Thank you. I could share the joy of poetry, and then when I could watch you and listen to you laughing and smiling so beautifully, it's really
Apology, it was in Bengali. Apology, an honest apology. An honest apology. I know.
It's me that misses something that, you know, I cannot, but I could share the feeling, watching your faces, your expressions, your laughter, that it was fun. And, my handicap was not to understand Bengali. In this generation, I think it's a bit late for me to learn Bengali, but I won't mind in my next reincarnation. Do you know who Vinoba Bhave was? He was one of the two main disciples of Gandhi.
Right.
So I met him, and he was very, very old, skin, beautiful smile. So
And what's his name again? What's his name again?
Vinoba Bhave, the Buddha movement in India. He was running through India and getting land from the landowners, and he gave it to the poor people. So Gandhiji had two main followers. One was J.P. Narayan, Jaya Prakash Narayan, whom I also met. He came from the Socialist Party. And then Vinoba, that had this approach. So he told me, seriously, you should learn Sanskrit. And with respect and irreverence, I said, if I become as old as you are, I will. But I don't think I'm going to get that old. So thank you. I think it's a great initiative to open this, in the beginning, Bangla-centric and now world-centric poetry event. I'm now aware how much Bengali people love poetry. And Tagore was a door, even though it was in Spanish. And then in Uppsala, I was privileged to meet Anisur Rahman, because he has
Anisur Jaman, you meant Dr. Anisur Jaman, who perhaps you mentioned.
No. He's talking about Anisur Rahman, a young journalist who lives in Uppsala.
Yeah. Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
He writes
Anisur Rahman.
Okay.
Theater. He's a very prolific writer. So through him, I have met some Bengali poets in Sweden. So with the COVID, it's difficult to know if someday I'm going to come to Bangla, to Dhaka, but at least I know more, and I'm curious and interested. And thank you for this opportunity and for granting me this final conclusion. I want to correct something about the Paulo Freire Institute. I was a member for some years. I resigned. So right now, I'm not a former member, but of course we share. If you know about Paulo Freire, he was known in Bengali. I know. And if not, you should read him again. He died in 97. But I think it's still a powerful voice. And I know that the Bengali people are very much into education and teachers. And so thank you for including me in this pretty much Bengali party and for expanding the horizon. And
Many thanks. Many thanks, Azril, for your kind words. And look forward to meeting you, not just virtually, in live event here in London. Especially the Gronthee International Poetry Festival would like to invite you. And perhaps if you kindly join in live events, we would like to listen poetry face to face, not just virtual format. So look forward for that day. Hopefully COVID will be over soon. Let us have some audience's feedback before I move on to Nirmalendu Goon. We would like to end with Gunda's reading. So I'd like to go to Gunda afterwards. In the meantime, Mithul, if you kindly include your concluding notes, and if you'd like to read some audience's feedback, that is okay as well. I'm not sure whether I know that we missed many beautiful feedback, beautiful, inspiring comments here. So if you would like to read a selection of comments, and then perhaps
Yes, I will read a few, as many as I can. Afroza Parveen has written, "Wow, Nirmalendu Gunda, it's my favorite poem, Only for You," um, quote unquote. And the latest poem, I already read it from your face. God bless you. Then Oz Hardwick, that poem about love between night and day was beautiful. Oh, you have written, I think you have read this earlier. Then I think I've got lost in translation a little bit. Sharat Chamtiam has written, "This program gave more life to poetry. Absolutely enjoyed it." Shahid Kais has written, "I'm really impressed by the Gronhtee Live program, 100 Poets Around the World for Love. It's not so easy to continue a program for 6 months. It's an excellent initiative. This program has connected 100 phenomenal poets around the globe and became a global platform to share poetry, thoughts, and ideas. Thanks a million to poet Shamim Shahan, poet Ahmed Kaysher, Shaheen Mitul, those who are involved with this wonderful program and put lots of effort to make this whole series of events successful. Best wishes to all of you." Joel Mazhar has written, "I'm patiently waiting for Joyda."
unfortunately,
And he earlier, as much as I can recall, he wrote, "Poet Nirmalendu Goon is having so many, attention of so many women in life. He's struggling to have one."
no,
And I said to him, less is more
Gunda,
sometimes.
I can relate your intention now. You are targeting more even young ladies by these these poems because you'd like to be kissed instead of intending to kiss someone. And I'm sure with your poetry, you are successful in the challenge that you mentioned, that you'd like to win the heart of young ladies uh, through your poems. And I'm sure there are many lovers who find their own words in your poetry. So Shamim Shahan, if you kindly add your concluding note before I move on to Nirmalendu Goon. If you kindly unmute yourself first.
Thank you. Thank you. I love, I think love is a continuous process of life. It had a choloman prokriya. It doesn't end anywhere. So it has no pagan. This is the last station. Last station is not like railway station that there is a last station of it. Love is a big thing that it doesn't have any station to stop. So
Exactly.
it continues running. So onward way, lot of loves wait for you, and I love to respond to all loves I find on my way. And আমার একটি কবিতা আছে যেখানে বলছি যে আমার প্রেমের ফাঁদ ভেঙে যে যায়, যে যে আমার প্রেমের ফাঁদ ভেঙে যে যায় সেই বাঁচে। মানে I have a trap of love. If you can go out of it, you will have a good life ahead. If you do not, you will have lot of troubles in your life with me.
So Gunda,
I do not believe.
our plan is to finish this session with your poetry, but Shamim Shahan, if you'd like to add your concluding note.
Thank you, Kaysher. Many thanks, poet, my favorite poet, Nirmalendu Goon, poet Azril Bacal, Habibullah Shiraji, and others two poets for joining 100 poets around the world for love. Many thanks for your wonderful contribution. You will be delighted to know that the Gronthee has decided to publish a book with the poem that are being read here as part of this series, along is brief biography on almost each poet. The title of the book will remaining as same as the name of the series, which I believe will serve as a diary for all writer friends around the world. Today is the last session. I am grateful to all of my friends who has given me effort behind the screen. Many thanks, and many thanks to all our viewers. Many thanks and endless love. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Shamim Shahan. Mithul, if you kindly add your concluding note.
Thank you. I would like to quote a few lines from Thomas Hardy's Song of Hope. Oh, sweet tomorrow, after today, there will away the sense of sorrow. Then let us borrow hope for a gleaming. Soon we'll be streaming, dimmed by no grey, no grey. I would say this is not the end. This is just the beginning of a remarkable journey. Gronthee started this initiative at a very distressful time, and undoubtedly this series has given us solace at those difficult times. I'd like to express my thanks and heartfelt gratitude to all the poets who joined us on this platform as part of this initiative, 100 Poets Around the World for Love, from day one till today. Would like to express my thanks to all our partner organizations and audiences for their tremendous support. From here on, embark on a greater journey. So hold your hopes high. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for the audiences who are watching this Saturday, we are going to observe, we are going to remember, ruminate the memories of Sudhir Chakraborty, a phenomenal, iconic musicologist, an iconic writer who died recently. So on this Saturday, please keep an eye on the Gronthee's page, and that is on at 3 p.m. UK time. So it will be about 9 p.m. in Bangladesh and 8:30 p.m. in 8:30 p.m. in India. Pavitra Ghosh, Professor Dr. Pavitra Ghosh, Tabudi Bhattacharya, and many and some other some other speakers will join to ruminate their memories on Sudhir Chakraborty. So Gunda, let us finish with your reading. Many thanks for joining, Gunda. You are such a phenomenal.
I enjoyed the program. I enjoyed the program because a lot of poets are not here. So if they were there, then I would not get that much time as I am now getting. so I enjoy the absence of other poets who fail to come.
না, thank you দাদা। আমি আপনাকে একটি কথা বলতে চাই। গুন্দা, আমি একটি কথা বলতে চাই। I'm sorry for that. আপনি এত ব্যস্ততার পরেও যে সময় দিলেন, এবং আমি আমার বন্ধুদের ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। আর বিশেষ করে আসাদ ভাইয়ের যেটা সমস্যা হচ্ছে, উনি নতুন বাসায় গেছেন, সেখানে তার ওই নেটের সমস্যার কারণে জয়েন করতে পারেনি। জয় গোস্বামী স্টিল এখানে আছেন, কিন্তু ওনার একই অবস্থা, নেটের জন্য থাকতে পারেননি। গুন্দা, আপনাকে অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ, আপনি যে আমাদের সময় দেওয়ার জন্য। আপনাকে এবং সবাইকে
Thank you very much for giving me a floor without for not many poets there. So I got some privilege to express my art to you and the readers who are listening to my poetry. আমি এই প্রোগ্রামটা খুব এনজয় করেছি, since you allowed me to speak out, to heart out. So I enjoyed this program. I could continue more if you wanted. Now I finish it. I express my gratitude and love to you all who are behind the screen and in front of the screen, both. And fellow poets, especially my poet friend from Sweden. So I now read out a poem that is also a love poem, since the main agenda was love, as far as I understood from the advertisement on the poster.
Exactly.
So I decided to read love poems. So I finished with it. Nuri, people. Nuri, you understand Nuri pathor. সমুদ্রের মধ্যে পাওয়া যায়। Exactly. সেই কবে এক সন্ধ্যাবেলায় সমুদ্র সৈকতে কুড়িয়ে পেয়েছিলাম আমি ছোট্ট একটা নুড়ি। সেই কবে এক সন্ধ্যাবেলায় সমুদ্র সৈকতে কুড়িয়ে পেয়েছিলাম আমি ছোট্ট একটা নুড়ি। তখন আমার কত বয়স? 30-32 হবে। তোমার তখন খুব বড় জোর 19 কিংবা 20। অভিভূত চিত্ত আমার তাই নিয়েছিল মেতে, হারিয়ে যাওয়া সেই নুড়িটি এখনো চাই পেতে। নুড়ি কোথায়, নুড়ি কোথায় আমার নুড়ি? নুড়ি এখন সাগর জলে করছে লুকোচুরি। এক সাগরের নুড়ি আমি 7 সাগরে খুঁজি, আবার তাকে খুঁজে পাওয়া কঠিনই হবে বুঝি। তবু আমি খেপার মতো খুঁজে বেড়াই তাকে, চোখ দুটোকে সচল রাখি কাজের ফাঁকে ফাঁকে। হঠাৎ সেদিন ব্যথা উঠল অন্ত্রনালীর কাছে, এক্সরে করে দেখি ওটা গল ব্লাডারে আছে। চিকিৎসকরা বলল কেটে বাইরে ফেলে দিতে, কিন্তু আমার কেন জানি বাঁধলো ঝুঁকি নিতে। ওরা ভাবলেন রাজি হয়নি কাটাচেরার ভয়ে, আমি ভাবলাম থাকুক ওটা নিভৃত সঞ্চয়ে।
क्या बात। Beautiful. Abner, can you just get you have been muted again. আপনি মিউট হয়ে গেছেন আবারও। গুন্দা, আপনি আবারও মিউট হয়ে গেছেন। আপনার শেষ কথাটা বোঝা গেল না, একটু মিউট হয়ে গেছেন আপনার। আপনি কি একটু আনমিউট করবেন আবারও? আবার একটু আনমিউট করা লাগবে বোধহয়।
গুন্দা, আপনি মিউট। ওকে, এখন ঠিক আছে।
ঠিক আছে। অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ. What a profound poetry you read, Gunda, and these poetry are need. These poems are need.
I have lot of better poems. You people do not know much about me.
No,
There
we do. Gunda, you have your spectrum of writing
I
is
myself do not do. I myself do not know. Days are going and poems are discovered. There are hundreds, there are thousands of reciters who recite my poem, make videos, and send me to make comments on their how they recite the poems. So I now discovered that more than 1,000 recitations in the YouTube. If you search in the YouTube, you will find more than 1,000 people reciting my poems.
exactly that is for the audiences who are listening you. But we can talk from our point. Perhaps
So I love to.
spectrum of writing, Gunda, your spectrum, not just love poetry. You wrote very powerful political poetry, and
Keep that aside.
some
Keep that
filmmakers.
aside. Keep that
some-
aside. Those poems are more popular because of politics.
Even Tanvir Bhai made his first film on Hulia. So I mean, আপনার এই স্পেকট্রাম সম্পর্কে আমরা প্রত্যেকেরই জানা আছে, but many thanks again for joining as part of the finale of this session. Before we finish, let me read some very interesting comments. Joel Mazar wrote, many thanks to the poets. I can't express my gratitude. What phenomenal role Gronthee has played so far. It was heavenly as the way as far as poetry goes. Love is our ultimate goal. Exactly. And Gronthee aims to preach and propagate the message of profound love through this poetry, and also build up a connection, build up a network between poets from different parts of the globe, different corners of the globe. Many thanks, Joel Mazhar. Many thanks to all poets who have supported this groundbreaking initiative. Taposh Rai wrote, great person, great poet Nirmalendu Goon. You yourself is 100 in one. Exactly, 100. Many thanks for your inspiring comment, Taposh Rai. And Zunan Nasheed again wrote, so Zunan Nasheed also a featured poet of this series. Lopa Shah wrote, গ্রন্থীকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ এত সুন্দর আয়োজন করার জন্য। আব্দুল কুদ্দুস, a Bengali intellectual in the north of England. Thanks to Gronthee for organizing such a wonderful session. Many thanks for these very inspiring comments. Gronthee will continue some more unique ideas, especially we'll continue with conversation series with poets, philosophers, filmmakers like we did before, and look forward for the Gronthee International Poetry Festival. Look forward for this Saturday's event. আপনারা অনেকেই জানেন সুধীর চক্রবর্তী, a phenomenal writer, especially the folk music specialist, music expert. ওই অর্থে বাংলা লোকসঙ্গীত তো বটেই, বাংলা গান নিয়ে তার গদ্যের তুলনা নেই। আমাদেরকে ছেড়ে চলে গেছেন, তাকে স্মরণ রেখে আরেকটা এই শনিবারে আরেকটা সেশন হবে। সো প্লিজ জয়েন আস, প্লিজ কন্টিনিউ উইথ ইউর সাপোর্ট এজ ইউ ডিড বিফোর। গুন্দা, আপনাকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ আবারও। Azril, many thanks again, but look forward to see you all at the live event.
Thank you very much for giving me this exposure, I must say, this exposure to readers of different languages. In Bangla, a lot of people know my poetry, know me, but in other languages, I am not that much known. So these sorts of programs will give me some possibility to express my heart to them in different languages.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for inviting
Can we
me. Good night.
Finish with your reading? Is it possible to read another poem from English translation, and can we finish with your reading? That would be a good ending of this finale of this
Oh, after
initiative,
that,
100
then I
Poets Around the
can do
World
one
for
thing.
Love.
Since it will be in England, so European readers, European people can be part of it. So since the Christmas day is approaching very soon,
Exactly.
the Christians world might be in very festive mood. So I wrote a poem called Jesus Cross. So I read out this poem for the Christian community people
Fantastic.
of Europe.
Fantastic.
Jesus Cross. Pilate washes his hands in the sacred water mixed with Jesus' blood and sweat. Pilate washes his hands in the sacred water mixed with Jesus' blood and sweat. Around him, the ungrateful people assembled in the courtyard raised slogans like street dogs in the name of serving religion. Around him, the ungrateful people assembled in the courtyard raised slogans like street dogs in the name of serving religion. Put him to death in the Roman way. Nail him to a cross. Christ's world trembles in trifling satires. The stupid soldiers spit in his beautiful face. Sinners slap on his cheeks for monetary greed. The untouchable traitor Judas gives his evidence. On the distant olive hill, Peter, the lover, cries on in absconding grievances. I don't exist. I don't exist. Thus I live. Thus I live.
What a beautiful ending. What a beautiful ending. Um, have a wonderful rest of the evening. Many
A
thanks.
happy Christmas to my Christian friends all
Exactly.
over the world who are listening to me and others.
It's a very good
See you
message.
soon again, and good night to all of you. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.